Hey, good afternoon, everybody. It's Mike. It is Friday, the 17th of February. This is your weekly recap. If you're interested in joining us and hear like what you hear, come on over to smartoptiontrading.com, the link in the description below. Click on live trading alerts, and for $25, you can try me out for 30 days. Let's talk about this week. Today's been a very quiet day. So we're in the middle of a digestion period or a pullback, probably would even call it a pullback at this point in the market, after this big run up off the October lows to a new bull market at 418.39. And we were unable to break back above that spot. And here we are. We have come down. We lost the 8-day. We lost the 21-day at this point. It's early. It's about 140. And the market's saying, I don't think I want to go. But there's no big volume here. And the one thing I would say here that's going on, look at the volume. It's very low today. There's no massive selling pressure here. There's no real big distribution. You have a market that is in the middle of a little pullback. Pullbacks are healthy. We've talked about this over and over. 3 to 5% pullbacks are the norm. We talked about 400 being the key level to hold. I maintain that is still the big level to hold on this market. You don't want to lose that. That could signify more problems. Under that, you start looking at the 50-day and the 200-day. All February has lived up so far to its reputation and being a little bit of a choppy month here. To the upside, we really have to clear 415 to get going again. We have this little downtrend in here, but overall, we're trading fine. And the market, they've been buying weakness back, including today. They bought it back before selling us here. If you take this aside, you look at what else is going on, the oscillators are getting very oversold already. That's good. That means when you see that, typically we're not going down that far. So what was good this week? That's a great question. Let's talk about it. Deere here on earnings today is having a big, nice move up. Great one there. Microsoft tried to push early on the week, couldn't hold, could not break back above 275, has rolled back over. We'll see if it holds the 200-day. We traded that a couple times. Google is one of my losers this week. Tried to grab it in here, held it for 24 plus hours, and it just didn't go. And then finally it popped on some big flow. But overall, Google's not trading well, and it feels like a weaker name in this market right now. Boeing gave us a nice trade this week. It tried to break out. It did, and then it failed, and it's come back into the range into the bottom. Boeing's got to be one of the most frustrating traders out there. Very, very difficult to trade. This was a great week to trade in the pre-market. If you are quick, I was trading ES futures and the NQ futures around the CPI, the PPI, and some of the different data that we had coming in this week. Airbnb gave a great trade or two or three after this monster report. Huge gap and go all the way up to 144. TTD, for people who traded, had a massive move, still digesting what's inside that candle. UPST, the report wasn't really that good, but there's a lot of short interest in that. You got a little one-day short squeeze, and we're kind of giving it back here as well. Tesla this week gave a nice trade. Yesterday, it gave a reversal candle. What's that mean? It traded up, it broke above the range, reversed, came down, engulfed the previous day's action, and here it is trying to hold the 8-day. So right now, it's trying to hold above this 200 area. If it holds above 200, everything's fine. I still think it tries to run into their event on March 1st. I still have the 200 days my target, but it's getting lower and lower. It's at 223 now when it was 227 when we first started talking about it. If it can't hold, you start looking down towards the 180 area is your next spot for there. What else? Shop, earnings were good. Guidance wasn't. It got beaten up here. DraftKings had a good report. That was a trade today, better than expected. Dash was a nice trade after hours last night, but they gave it back. I was not overly impressed with that report when I dug down into it. Apple here has been trying to break out this week. Unfortunately, it couldn't go. It got caught up in yesterday and back down. Bailed out of my calls for a loss on that today. It happens. These things do happen. And Meta here also back into the gap here, and it's just not be able to hold. Now, it's still up quite a bit. The next big test comes here around the 21-day at 166. You take this all aside, overall, the market's holding in. The semis, which led us up, they're back on the 21-day and holding. The banks here just lost the 21-day, but they're still kind of holding up. Energy is getting whacked today, but this is not unusual. The big thing to keep watching now is to watch bonds. We've been talking about this bonds with a nice reversal candle here today. This was needed. We don't want to consider to see bonds weaken and the dollar strengthen. Dollar also reversing, coming back in. This is overall better for the market. We hope this continues. So with that said, we have a 3-day weekend. I'm going to wish you all well. We are closed on Monday. Futures are open. I'll probably do charts on Monday. And with that said, I'm going to wish you guys a wonderful, wonderful weekend. I'll catch you in the room bright and early on Tuesday morning.